Developing now at 6, what we're learning about a shooting authorities say involved an armed security guard who worked at a preschool. Then,
everybody was under the impression he was drunk even before the cops came.
How a suspected drunk driver ended up dead at the hands of a sheriff's deputy. Plus,
this is the biggest health epidemic, I think, that people don't even know about yet.
Colorful canisters and fruity flavors. The KGW follow-up investigation into the loophole that's making it easy to buy the gas experts call addictive and dangerous.
And later, what local Catholics are saying about the decision to elevate an American to Pope for the first time in history.
This is a man who understands the world and its complexities today.
But first, we begin at 6 with scary moments at a Portland preschool today when a security guard shot and wounded a man. Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich.
And I'm David Molko. That school says the guard was forced to take action when the man threatened and assaulted him. Let's get right to Devin Haskins live at the shooting scene in Southwest Portland. Devin?
Yeah, David and Christine, it's important to note that the shooting happened just across the street here at the Fano Creek Medical Clinic. That's right next door to that preschool. That security guard working for the GAN. It's a Portland Jewish preschool. And in fact, just hours after the shooting happened, he went right back to work standing guard outside the school. This all happened around noon this afternoon, just before noon this afternoon. The shooting victim was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The medical director for the nearby clinic said the man wasn't a patient or getting treatment, and it's unclear why he was in the parking lot. Police are investigating that. They tell us that the shooting is still under investigation and that the security guard has been cooperative with police. The preschool sent us a statement that reads in part that the guard was, quote, threatened and assaulted by an individual in an area immediately adjacent to the school. And it goes on to say the guard was forced to take protective action using his licensed weapon to defend himself. The school added that police don't believe the disturbance was related to the school or that it was a target of Jewish bias. Portland police say the shooting victim has gone through surgery and is right now in ICU, but it's unclear what his prognosis is. Back to you.
Appreciate you bringing us the update. Thank you, Devin. Developing tonight in Clark County, investigators are trying to figure out what led up to a sheriff's deputy stabbing and killing a suspected drunk driver.
Authorities say this all began in Hazel Dell with a report of a driver crashing into parked cars. The deputy took him into custody and drove him to a weigh station in Ridgefield. And that's apparently when a struggle broke out. John Adams is live in Clark County. So, John, do we know why that suspect was taken to the weigh station? Again, a weigh station, not a police station in the first place.
Yeah, David and Christine, the sheriff's office told me today they actually don't have their own breathalyzer test, so it's common practice for them to bring suspects here to this weigh station where they use a breathalyzer in one of the rooms here owned by the Washington State Police. It's in that room where I'm told the suspect lunged for a deputy's gun. Law enforcement vehicles surrounded this Washington State Patrol scale house on Thursday after a Clark County deputy stabbed a man to death late Wednesday night. According to officials, the incident happened after the man was arrested on suspicion of DUII. He allegedly crashed into a number of vehicles just before 11 p.m. in a northeast Vancouver neighborhood.
First, he crashed into the neighbor's car here, and we're not even quite sure how he ended up hitting over here because it looks like he pushed there and then he came this way.
Emily Henke says the man hit their family's van after slamming into the neighbor's car. She told us he appeared to be intoxicated.
It sounded kind of like he kept saying things, and everybody was under the impression he was drunk even before the cops came or knew he was.
The sheriff's office says the man was then transported to the weigh station off I-5 in Ridgefield, which has a breath analysis device. 25 minutes after arriving, a deputy reported the man lunged for his gun. The deputy stabbed the man multiple times during the struggle, killing him. The Washington State Office of Independent Investigations has taken over. This is what one of their investigators told us this morning.
So work will begin on processing the scene for evidence. And that's kind of what the next step is right now. We'll begin working on the scene, crime scene mapping, evidence collection, and so forth.
Back in Vancouver, Henke says the man appeared to be having a hard time in the aftermath of the crash.
He seemed like he was struggling to me. Aside from just being drunk, he seemed very upset about something.
OII says the investigation could take 120 days or longer to complete. Now, the deputy involved in the incident was not injured and has been placed on critical incident leave, which is standard protocol. Now, we still don't know what object the deputy used in the stabbing, but we were told earlier today by the sheriff's office that deputies are allowed to carry knives with them. David and Christine, back to you.
John Adams reporting live from Clark County. Thank you, John.
In your headlines this evening, we're learning more about a fatal police shooting outside a Vancouver grocery store late last year. According to a report released today by the Office of Independent Investigations, the December 4th incident began when two VPD officers spotted a man with a warrant, 45-year-old Adam Gunderson, dumpster diving behind the Safeway on Mill Plain. According to the report, Gunderson resisted arrest and officers wrestled him to the ground. As they were trying to subdue him, they say he pointed a handgun at one of the officers, and that officer shot him 5 times in the head. A loaded handgun and clip were recovered from that scene. Prosecutors are now reviewing the report.
Today, the person who robbed a 98-year-old man on Thanksgiving is in prison. Take a look at the surveillance video showing what happened. You can see the man coming out of the Winco grocery store near the Gateway Shopping Center off I-205. Then another man gets out of the tan Mercedes, grabbing 98-year-old Frank Lehan's wallet out of his back pocket, then knocking him to the ground as the car speeds away. The man in that Mercedes, Karan Jones, was sentenced to 12 years in prison for assault, robbery, and identity theft.
And Washington Supreme Court has ruled that a state law banning high-capacity magazines is constitutional. That 2022 law bans the sale, manufacture, and import of magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. The owner of Gators Custom Guns in Kelso sued the state, saying the ban infringed on his Second Amendment rights. The gun shop owner had previously said if he lost, he would appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. Matt?
All right, David, we had a beautiful day today. We cooled off. The high temperature was 70 today, but we get another warm, sunny day tomorrow. In fact, it gets even warmer tomorrow compared to today. Clouds roll in Saturday as we begin to transition to wet and cool weather, which begins on Sunday, which of course is Mother's Day, and there will be showers. High temperature only 64, which means we'll be in the upper 50s and low 60s for most of the day. Showers becoming more frequent and a little heavier in the afternoon hours. Morning hours a little less so. Probably the rainiest Sunday night and then into Monday too, as this won't be a one-day affair. We're going to be in cool, wet weather for several days to come as we go into next week. But today, we made it up to 70, keeping that string of 70-degree days alive at 4. More on the Mother's Day switcheroo and what comes after that in a bit. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Now to a follow-up on a KGW investigation into nitrous oxide. As we first reported last month, health officials are sounding the alarm after a spike in dangerous cases.
And since then, we've learned distributors are flooding the market with bigger and brighter tanks of the gas. Investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi is here with the story. Hi, Kyle.
Hi. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has made it clear inhaling nitrous oxide can lead to serious health problems, including death. But despite this warning, companies are widely marketing this product with signs and banners suggesting it's some type of culinary product. For sale at the gas station?
911, what is the address of your emergency? Avenue. Thank you. Tell me exactly what happened.
So there's a person using nitrous oxide. He is endangering his life.
When police and medics arrived at Nick Harbor's Southeast Portland home, they discovered a man unable to break from his addiction.
How long have you been doing this?
Despite knowing the harm to himself and seeing the heartbreak of others, he continued to inhale.
Would you like to go get checked out and maybe come down from this a little bit?
His craving for nitrous oxide was louder than reason.
It was a hard day. That was a hard day.
The 45-year-old survived his darkest days and recovered from the depths of addiction. He now leads a nitrous oxide support group called No to N2O.
This is the biggest health epidemic, I think, that people don't even know about yet.
For years, people used small doses of nitrous oxide as a party drug by inhaling the small cartridges used to make whipped cream. Recently, though, health officials have raised concern after a surge in dangerous cases. Social media is full of clips of young people taking hits of nitrous. In April, KGW spoke with a Gresham couple temporarily paralyzed after prolonged use of the gas.
I completely lost it and I couldn't walk. I had to physically learn how to walk again.
As nitrous oxide has grown in popularity, it's become widely available and is being sold in bigger and brighter tanks with candy-like flavors.
It really does kind of blow my mind.
And you don't have to look far to find it. A huge banner outside this gas station in southeast Portland advertises Galaxy Gas, generic shorthand for nitrous oxide. Walk inside this store and you'll find a wide selection of loud and colorful canisters. What's your biggest tank you got? The enormous 4-liter tanks sell for almost $200. There are smaller, less expensive options available too. Plenty of them.
It is heavy.
We found nitrous oxide available all over town. It's sold in neighborhood mini-marts.
Can I see that Exotica whip?
In Oregon, you've just got to be 18 years old to buy it. Convenience stores have a variety of brands and flavors.
Fruit punch, cosmic grape, strawberry stardust.
And gas stations? It's as easy to buy nitrous oxide as a soda or a bag of chips. Just ask and it's yours.
Big sucker, huh? Space gas, strawberry stardust.
These products, with their fun-sounding names like Space Gas, are being promoted in bright neon lights and colorful storefront displays.
Some bold advertising for Whip It.
And online, customers can buy as much nitrous oxide as they want. eBay and Amazon have all kinds of brands, colors, and flavors.
So how's this legal? Well, that's where things get interesting. Federal law prohibits the sale of nitrous oxide for recreational use, inhaling it.
But companies can get around that if they say it's for food use only. Look closely. There's often a disclaimer in the packaging. This loophole allows them to sell it legally as a culinary product, say for making whipped cream.
Would you ever use something like this?
No, I've never in my professional career of baking in, 18 years, used nitrous oxide in any application.
Portland chef Lisa Clark, owner of Petunia's Pies and Pastries, says an enormous canister of nitrous in the kitchen just doesn't make sense.
If you're going to make whipped cream, typically you would just whip it with a KitchenAid, a mixer, and a whip attachment and sweeten it. You're not going to use flavored nitrous oxide.
This growing industry appears to have been built around exploiting this loophole. Mini-marts and gas stations suddenly have shelves filled with nitrous, sold in sizes absurd for chefs, but ideal for huffing.
I think that this is actually one of the biggest problems with why we're seeing this as a health epidemic, is because this is not even sold as something like alcohol or marijuana where it's designed to be ingested. This is being sold as a food service industry product.
Wow, Kyle, I have never seen or thought about nitrous being used and sold in this way. So I'm also curious, the companies that are putting these dangerous products on the shelves, do they have a response at all?
Right, so we reached out to 3 of those companies, specifically Space Gas, Infused, and Whip It. None of them responded to us. I should tell you, this is not the end of our reporting on this subject. We've got a couple other stories we're already working on, including looking at the manufacturers, the marketing of these products, also the accountability side. What are policymakers going to do? How is this allowed to be sold?
I imagine you saying, remember you telling us Louisiana has actually banned this from being sold. I mean, that one that you held that had the handle on the side.
Huge.
That just tells it all. The risks are so real. Hey,
and you're not going to make that. You're not going to use that for whipped cream, buying it in a gas station. Come on.
Appreciate your reporting on this and the follow-up. Thanks, Kyle.